if you were going to say, folks, these are my top three things you should be addressing regardless of age, and I know movement's one of them. That's what brought me to this. What would you say to this audience that's listening that they, regardless of age, regardless of sport, what would you say should be like the gold they should walk away with from you?
From movement in particular or just in general?
Well, let's do both.
Yeah.
Let's do movement in particular because I think movement is huge. It's the most. It's very understated.
Yeah.
But let's talk about movement, and then we'll get to the other one.
So let's talk about two things with movement that I'll branch from. One is that if you are engaged in some formal exercise or strength and conditioning program, most of the time what people are focused on are measurements of output, right? So quantitative measure. What's my capacity? How much can I lift? How fit am I? How fast can I go? How much work can I do? And those things are important. But what they're not as aware of are qualitative. Can I move with efficiency and effectiveness and repeatability? Do I have enough range of motion? Can I move with tempo and rhythm? Do I have timing? Those kinds of things are actually most representative of athleticism. Capacity is essential because it's the ticket to the game. If you don't have capacity, you won't get to play the game. But to be good and an adaptable mover, rhythm, tempo, timing, coordination, those things are essential, but harder to measure. So we tend to ignore them. And what ends up happening is when those sort of qualitative things go away, we notice the outcomes, but we're not sure how to deal with it. So in the strength and conditioning environment, don't just focus on how much, how fast, right? Quantitative, but also do I have rhythm, tempo, timing? Can I put things together in ways that keep me adaptable? And one of the biggest lost opportunities in the sort of strength and conditioning or the fitness environment is using that environment as an audit. So we go there to develop our capacity to perform, but we don't go in there with an awareness of what it is we're actually doing. And I have terms for this, right? This is task completion, right? And task completion is basically I got the things done. I checked the boxes, reps and sets, time on a bike, whatever, right? I got it done. Or we have formal movement, and formal movement systems have standards. So when I have a standard for something, that means that I can compare, right? So what is the execution of this exercise? Am I doing it to a given standard? And if I can become aware of how that standard represents, for example, how well I'm moving in a squat, then week to week, I can assess my movement quality as well, right? So that's a big lost opportunity in the strength and conditioning environment is using it as a place to gain awareness of movement capacity and quality. The other piece with movement is, do I have some regular monitoring system that's apart from any environment where I'll disconnect? Because we all know when you get to the gym, sometimes you just want to get in there and get it done. You just want to have your bro sesh.
Right.
Or if you're there with your buddy, you're like, man, I don't want to be last today. Or like, I'm not letting this dude, I'm putting 5 more pounds in this dude today or whatever, right? So it can be helpful to have some monitoring system apart from that environment. For the function check, right? I call it having a function check, right? And what I've used the most is like Sun Salutation from yoga. And when I teach guys who are in the check engine like class at VHP, this is what we talk about. Is like, Sun Salutation, do I really care if you do that specifically? I don't. But have something every day, some series of movements that you touch, where the only reason you're doing them is as a check-in. Do I know how this thing works? And I use the analogy of a function check, right? And of course, the classic thing that happens in my class is I come in on the movement day. I'm like, hey guys, all you guys know what a function check is. right? And everybody looks at me like I'm an asshole because I'm some civilian.
Right.
And of course, they all know what a function is, a stupid rhetorical question,
Right.
right? And then I'm like, what are the steps? Right. And then it's like another eye roll, like, oh, this fucking guy, right? Okay. Put the weapon on safe, charge the handle, pull the trigger, make sure that, the hammer is blah, blah, blah. And they go tell me the steps while they're all kind of like huffing and puffing through it. And I'm like, great. So you guys like got this down. It's like second nature, right? Like, yeah, yeah, totally. I'm like,
Right.
great. When do you do it? Do you do it like, or like, why do you do it? And they're like, well, you got to make sure that the basic functions of the rifle are occurring. I'm like, oh, do you do it when you're already down range or when you're already firing, when it's live? They're like, hell no. I'm like, when do you do it? You do it before and after every time you shoot. I'm like, oh, really? So you don't just wait and make sure you don't just wait and cross your fingers and hope shit works right. They're like, nah. I'm like, what's your function check for your body? And then it's dead silence in the room.
silence,
Like,
no
because you
answer.
don't fucking have one.
That's right.
You just assume that your stuff will work because it hasn't failed yet.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I offer Sun Salutation as a way to begin. And I give this to every athlete that I work with at some point. They do Sun Salutation so that they get in the habit of checking in. And I pick Sun Salutation because it's so easy. It's easy to learn, doesn't take any time. You don't have to have special knowledge. There's no equipment. I do it when my coffee's brewing.
So
right?
where if people are like, I want to learn about this, where should they reference it?
I mean, the easiest place is to look in the book.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
mean, you can YouTube it, but you'll get skinny yoga girls who are way more flexible than you demonstrating it. And you're like, I can't do that shit. And you'll click on. In the book, there's a graphic that walks through like the basic series of Sun Salutation. And the graphic is actually photographs of me that got turned into a graphic. And you'll realize like, oh, this is just like, looks normal. Right.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And the cool thing about this idea of like movement is, I have these different categories of indicators, right? Mind, movement, and matter. And movement is just one. And they cross over each other. It's not like your mind is like irrelevant when you're doing Sun Salutation. One of the biggest advantages that I found for me and for guys that I work with is that when they do Sun Salutation, one of the first things you'll notice is psychological friction to performing it. So if let's say you're doing Sun Salutation for a month and then you wake up one day and you're like, man, I don't want to this is stupid. And you go, hold on a second, man, I've been doing this for a month, no problem. Why am I in this headspace today? Why am I so resistant to doing this? Did I get enough sleep? Have I been in a shitty mood for 2 days? Man, my wife said yesterday I was kind of grumpy and I was like, no, I'm not. Right? And so then it starts to give you this touch point of awareness where you catch problems early. And not all the problems that we need checkpoints for are physical. And some of them are psychological and emotional, and some are social. Right? And so driving awareness to those things early so we can course correct is the entire point.